Hello. I've never done one of these before, but I had lots of questions come up about one of my songs and how to play it on the piano. So I thought I would do a little fun tutorial and teach you how to play it if you feel like playing it at home or you want to learn how to do it. This is one of my songs from my third album, How to Not Fall Apart, and it's You're Gone Now. A very sad, melancholic piano track, which I wrote about losing somebody very close to me. So it's very sad, and it's not really that hard to play. It's just kind of a combination of chords and little inversions here and there. The whole song is kind of built around three chords in the verses and the chorus, and it's these chords. So we have an E flat major chord, which is this. So in order to play this, you want to have your thumb playing the E flat note, your forefinger playing the G note, and you want to have, ideally, your ring finger playing the B flat note. So play those all together. That creates an E flat major chord. I don't know how experienced you are with playing piano, but if you're a regular player and you want to play the octave beneath it, then you can do that. I mean, I typically tend to do most of my work with my right hand, and my left hand will do kind of octave root notes and occasionally a little bit of bassy stuff, but generally that's what you want to do. So you want to start off with that E flat major chord, and you then want to jump down to a G minor chord, which is this, one of the saddest chords on the piano. So what you want to do is play with your thumb the G note, you want your forefinger to play the B flat note, and you want your ring finger to play the D note. Play them together, creates a G minor chord. And then what you can do with your forefinger or whatever you want to do is just play the root note of G beneath that. If you're a more experienced piano player, you could even do double and play a G minor chord on your left hand as well. But as it's quite a gentle song, you probably don't need that much bass, so I would go with maybe just the root note. Okay. So far we've got our E flat major, our G minor, and then what you're going to do is you're going to jump up to a C minor chord with your right hand. So this is actually my favourite chord to play on the piano. So what you want to do is play the C with your thumb, the E flat with your forefinger, and then the G with your ring finger. But instead of hitting a C root note and creating like a fully fleshed C minor chord, you're actually going to play a G sharp note underneath this. So technically this chord is what we would call a C minor over G sharp or A flat. So you're going to take your root note and place that under the C minor, or you can even play it here if you wanted to. So you've got your C minor chord with your right hand, and then you've got your left hand playing the bass notes. Okay, so those are the three chords essentially that the song is built around. So you've got that E flat major, you've got your G minor, and you've got your C minor over G sharp. So you play those all together, it will sound like this. Or if you want to play that up there, you can. Now what I tend to do in order to give this a little bit of rhythm is I create a little arpeggio out of the chords. So you can So when you're singing the verses or playing the verses, you want to play these three chords over and over. So and the same with the chorus as well. So we've got the I won't be the same if I don't hear your name. Will you stay around some more? So you can do that, and then when you get to the chorus, the I could have known you'd be taken away from me. Your eyes never show the desire to wander free. So they just go around in circles for the verses and the chorus. The next bit to teach you is what happens in the pre-chorus. There's a little lead up into the chorus from the verses, and it kind of changes key. So you come out of this E flat major key in which the song is set. The song was written in that key, but instead of playing and coming back to that C minor over G sharp, what you want to do is jump down to an F sharp chord. This is the bridge. So for the bridge, you start off with an F sharp chord. So with your right hand, you want to play the F sharp with your thumb. You want to play the B flat with your forefinger, and then you want to play the C sharp note up here with your ring finger. So you create that. That's an F sharp chord. And again, you can play the bass. You can play the root note here with your left hand. So that's the first chord for the pre-chorus. After that, you're then going to jump down to another one of my favourite chords on the piano, which I use quite a lot, and that is an E flat minor chord, which is this one here. It's got quite a dark sound to it, actually. So in order to play an E flat minor chord, you want to, with your right hand, you want to play the E flat note with your thumb, you want to play the F sharp note with your forefinger, and you want to play the B flat note with your ring finger. So, and then again, with your left hand, you want to play the root note. So we've gone from that F sharp chord to that E flat minor chord. And then the final chord in the pre-chorus, leading up to the chorus that you're going to play, is quite simply a very open A flat chord. Okay, so with your right hand, you want to play the G sharp note with your thumb. You want to play the C with your forefinger, and you also want to play the E flat note here. Next to that C sharp note, you want to play this one with your ring finger. So it will sound like this. And again, for this one, for the bass note, the root note, I'm just doing octaves with my thumb and my ring finger. So if you can stretch your hand that wide, what I mean is like that. I'll just move up one so you can see. If your hands are wide enough to cover that full octave, then great. If not, you can just play with one. Just play it with your thumb or play it with your forefinger, depending on how you feel. Okay, so we've got those three chords in the pre-chorus. So we've got the F sharp, the E flat minor, and then that G sharp chord. Now, in comparison to what we play in the verses and the chorus, these chords are actually played a little bit more rhythmically. There's a bit more, should we say, more of a percussive feel behind this. So the verses are kind of very legato and very flowy, and the lyrics are a bit like that as well. So I guess they kind of match each other. So you've got that. It's very delicate, very kind of gentle. Whereas the pre-chorus leading up to the chorus, you can play a little bit more rhythmically. So I just tend to play the chords like this. So I go to this F sharp and I do. So there's almost a kind of, the tempo picks up and there's a little bit more of a kick to it. So we go from this. And then after that final C minor over G sharp chord that leads into the pre-chorus, you want to jump from here down to your F sharp. So and then back into your chorus. So you've got that. I couldn't know. I've forgot my own lyrics. That's embarrassing. So that is essentially the verses, the pre-chorus, and the chorus. The next bit to teach you is there's kind of this bridge which takes place in the middle of the second verse. And again, this is kind of quite rhythmic. I remember putting this part into the song, and I mean, the purpose of it was to take the song in a different direction, and it kind of does that for a little bit of a while. There's like an added intensity. So what I'll do, just to show you, is I'll play the verse, the second verse, as I've just showed you how, and then what I'll do is I'll go into that bridge just so you can get a feel for it. So we've got this E flat major, G minor, and then we've obviously got the C minor over G sharp. And then we go into this, into an F minor chord, okay? So in order to play this, you want to, with your right hand, you want your thumb to be playing the F, your forefinger to play the G sharp, and you also want your ring finger to be playing the C. So that's an F minor chord. And then with your left hand, you want to play the root note beneath that. So again, just play an F. Nice and straightforward, nothing too complicated. And then what we're going to do is we're going to jump up to a G sharp chord again, exactly as we played it before, nice and open. So we've gone from the F minor to the G sharp, and we're then going to jump up one and play a B flat major chord. So in order to play a B flat major chord, with your right hand you want your thumb to be playing the B flat, you want your forefinger to be playing the D, and then you want your ring finger to play the F. Very bright, optimistic chord this, but when you contrast it with those two previous chords, particularly leading off that F minor, there's something almost quite sad about it. I don't quite know what it is, but it works. Fly, sorry. And then we're going to go to a C minor chord, but instead of playing the G sharp root note underneath it, we're going to play an octave. If you can, if your hands are big enough, you're going to play C as the root note. So this is what I'd like to call a pure C minor chord. So what we've got is F minor, G sharp, B flat, C minor. So we're kind of ascending the scale here. We're going from minor to major to major to minor. So okay, and then we're going to go down to B flat again. And that's one round of this little bridge section that we've just played. So we've got so all we're going to do is we're going to play 2 rounds of that bridge. So that's the first time. Second time. And then to finish it, we're just going to end on a pure G sharp chord. So when you play this and sing it, it will sound like this. Still my days of reflection bring the tears for the times, everything. Our moments together, the memories to smile at forever. But how can I smile on my own? Smile on my own. Okay, that is the bridge. That's as simple as it is. In terms of how you play this rhythmically, this kind of goes in arpeggios. So what we want to do is just simply trill through the chords. So what I'm doing is I'm going all the way through those 3 notes in the chord, and then I'm coming back to the center. Okay? And I'm just going to do that for every single chord in the sequence. So I'm going to go. So it changes a little bit. So with F minor, you want to play it twice. Straight up to the G sharp, only one of the B flat, and then 2 of the C minor, 2 of the B flat. So 2, 1, 1, 2, 2. And then for that final G sharp chord that ends this bridge section, you're going to do 4. Okay, so we've got 2, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 1, 1, 2, 2, and then for that final G sharp note that closes the bridge section, you're going to do 4 of them. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's your bridge section done. So we've got the verse. Same for the chorus applies. We've got the pre-chorus, which starts off from this F sharp chord. remember that's more rhythmic, so you can play that a little bit faster. You can really build up the tempo with that. And then finally, we've got this little bridge section which happens halfway through verse 2, which is played like follows. Start with the F minor, G sharp, B flat, C minor, B flat, back to F minor, and that is essentially the basis of all the chord progressions that take place in the song. The only thing to learn now is playing the melody higher up the piano during the intro and the chorus. So you'll see that I've shifted my phone higher up the piano to show you how the melody is played on your right hand during the intro and the chorus. So further down the piano, we've learnt the chords so far. So we've got the E flat major, the G minor, and then the C minor over G sharp. So that runs through the verses and the choruses as we've discussed. So now, leading into the song, there is a simple 4-note little trill which happens, and that is up here. And then you jump into that first chord of the E flat major. So, very simply, all we're going to do up here is we're going to play a B flat, an A flat, and then we're going to jump up here to this E flat, and then we're going to jump back to the B flat. So it's... And the chords in the verses and the chorus kind of kick off with that pattern before we go into that first E flat major chord. So we've got... And then after that C minor over G sharp chord, you can play it again. So it just becomes a pattern, and you hear that during the intro of the song, and you also hear that during the chorus as well. So... Okay, so that's the intro you hear at the start of the verses. During the chorus, there is something that goes on as well. So again, we're leading through these chords, so it's the same chords again. But what we're going to do instead of playing, we're simply going to play the E flat and the B flat. This is during the chorus, so we're going to go... the first time round. So if you're singing that, to put that into context, that would be... I couldn't know you'd be taken away from me. During the second line, your eyes never showed the desire to wander free, we've got... so I'll play the first line beforehand. So we've got... I couldn't know you'd be taken away from me. Back into that chord progression again. So up here, we're going to play an F, a G, F again, and then back to the E flat. Again, 4 notes. So we play the E flat chord, those 2 notes, G sharp, C minor over C sharp, and then F, G, F, E flat. Then the next time, play our trill again. So up here we're playing a G sharp, a G, an F, and then back to that E flat again. So what you have all together will sound like this. And that is your chorus complete.